Hi, my name is Joe Price. I want to enter the uscca testimonial. I've been trying for a few weeks now to get this to work. I think I figured it out, and I do want to enter the uscca testimonial. I've wrote in email, I've entered by phone per your email request. I sent a picture in to link to those two, and I've sent in one other testimonial, but I would like to upgrade it. All my hard copies didn't seem to work for me, so wanted to give you a little background again about myself. I started looking into my CPL after January 2nd of 2007. A friend of mine had been with me for 2 or 3 years. I wrote a reference letter for his CPL at the time he needed the reference letters, and in Michigan we don't any longer need those, but we do need references. So he had been after me. Friend Greg had been after me for a few years to get my CPL, and I was against it, the responsibilities, mostly the responsibilities, and I didn't know anything about it until I started January 2nd of 2007. Something drastic happened in my life, January 2nd of 2007 in Detroit, and it changed my whole outlook on responsibilities. It's the aftermath type of thing. So anyway, I talked to my friend Greg, and he got me into the CPL class, and once I read the booklet, the NRA booklet, I felt that everybody should have that information available to them. I believe that everyone in today's society needs to read that NRA booklet. There's so much useful information in there with high alerts on terrorism, and the government saying look for suspicion. So with that said, I want to talk more about the uscca newsletter. I started looking for weapons. I was gun-ho. I wanted the 45 911, and the first weapon I ever did buy was the 9 Kel-Tec, and then I went out and got a 45 Springfield, but come time to qualify for my CPL, I used the 9 Kel-Tec, and I had quite a bit of difficulty hitting the paper plates, and the 45 seemed to be too heavy with the dovetail to carry, so I got rid of both of those weapons and started doing some research. Really, I wasn't that big on carrying to begin with, and I didn't know what to carry, and all the gun shops were always saying the biggest gun you can carry and the most ammunition you can hide. With that said, your newsletters picked up from there, and the first thing that you said was always make sure you have a clean line of fire, which in the CPL class they talked about quick draw fire, and you emphasized clean line of fire and the harm that can do, strays and so on. So I subscribed to your newsletter after that cover letter, and the next thing I know, you were talking about, you know, what type of clothing to wear, and the responsibilities that, you know, we were shunning and we didn't want. And again, you were like one step ahead of me on my CPL and on my journey into CPL. So I started reading your news articles. I enjoyed the one about the sheep, the sheepdog, and the wolf in comparison to 9/11. Very well written. I enjoyed it. Spoke about it to friends quite often after reading it. Most people knew about the sheepdog, the wolf, and the sheep, but anyway, the news links that you have on your articles, I've gone through. I enjoy the videos quite a bit. There's useful information as well as education. Then I have sent news links to your newsletter to friends and family, in hopes that they would enjoy it as much as I do. I look forward to your newsletter every single week. It's well written. You're like one step ahead of me in my journey. I can quote verbatim from the time I started. It was like no one wanted to change their clothing. I didn't want to change my clothing. I didn't want to be obvious. I didn't want the responsibilities, didn't know what to carry. One of your articles stated, what is the best weapon to carry, and it's the one you have, and what's the worst weapon to carry, and it's the one you didn't bring. About the clothing, you mentioned the vest. And you can't wear a vest all the time. So, once again, you're in short and in brief, you're answering questions, or you're giving us things that we can think of for ourselves, or we have already thought about and we're still contemplating. So you're always in our minds. If anybody that I know has ever asked a question about it, or if I've brought the CPL classes up to them, I've always mentioned the uscca. And again, the one that is going to be with me until I do the math, and it's lingering in my mind, is the violent crime rate compared to the population. And it's the way it is. You have to do the math and know that the assailants are out there, and they just consider us objects to be removed out of their way for their purpose. And I just enjoy the news articles. You've been with me every step of the way, and I want to reach out and say thank you. And if by chance I win, I'm at joebass.com. It's JOEBASS, wow, WOWWAY.com. Thank you. Have a good night.